Good evening, you're watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. I am Sosan Ali and here are tonight's main headlines. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq, during the official session of talks with His Excellency the Prime Minister of the Republic of India, stresses on further strengthening the bilateral relations between the two friendly countries. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq and His Excellency the Indian Prime Minister, during their meeting at the Hyderabad House in New Delhi, stress on the deep-rooted Omani-Indian relations and the importance of developing them towards new horizons. Official reception protocols are held at Rashtrapati Bhavan Palace in the Indian capital New Delhi on the occasion of His Majesty's state visit to the Republic of India. His Majesty the Sultan issues his royal orders to announce the state of mourning and fly flags at half-mast in the Sultanate of Oman, as work shall be halted at the public and private sectors for 3 days from today on the death of the Emir of Kuwait, Sheikh Nawaf Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah. And His Majesty the Sultan sends a cable of condolences to His Highness Emir of Kuwait on the death of the late Emir of Kuwait, His Highness Sheikh Nawaf Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah. Those were the headlines. Now for the news in detail. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq and His Excellency Narendra Modi, Prime Minister of the Republic of India, held an expanded official session of talks this morning at Hyderabad Palace in the capital, New Delhi. Here's a report.
In a speech during the sessions of talks, His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq extended his thanks and appreciation to Prime Minister Narendra Modi for the warm hospitality of the Indian government and people. His Majesty further stressed on starting a new chapter in the march of Omani-Indian relations that go back to thousands of years. His Majesty also emphasized on the strategic partnership between both countries, in addition to cooperation in political, security, economic and education fields. His Majesty added that the Omani government members are directed to continue to work with their Indian counterparts so as to enhance cooperation in fields related to security and defense, green energy, information technology, innovation, development of startup institutions, among other sectors. His Majesty also stressed on the significance of finalizing of negotiations towards the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, which is considered an important strategic step, and it reflects both the Indian and Omani visions to enhance and expand the commercial and economic relations that will serve the people of both nations. His Majesty pointed out that the Sultanate of Oman and the Republic of India have a deep-rooted maritime history, a central geographic location, eco-diversification along with being multicultural countries, and that makes both countries a destination for tourism, trade and investment. His Majesty further added that during the last few years, both countries were subject to scientific research and innovation in various fields. His Majesty said that the Sultanate of Oman believed in the policies of good neighborliness, peaceful coexistence, not to intervene in others' internal affairs, and that the Sultanate of Oman always seeks to support all the peaceful means and avoid intentional and regional disputes and abide to the international law while pushing forward the security, peace and justice. His Majesty the Sultan appreciated the invitation of the Sultanate of Oman by His Excellency the Prime Minister of India to be a guest in the G20 group. His Majesty congratulated the positive results achieved by the group. His Majesty concluded this speech by extending his gratitude towards the invitation by the Republic of India, wishing further progress and prosperity for the Indian government and people. During the session, discussions on topics that strengthen bilateral relations between the two friendly countries, joint efforts to develop paths of close cooperation in various fields, and opportunities to invest available resources in a way that achieves the common interest of the Omani and Indian peoples. In addition to discussing developments in regional and international situations, issues of common interest, and other efforts made towards them.
His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq and His Excellency Narendra Modi, Prime Minister of the Republic of India, held an expanded official session of talks this morning at Hyderabad Palace in the capital, New Delhi. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq today held a meeting at Hyderabad House in New Delhi with His Excellency Narendra Modi, Prime Minister of the Republic of India. The meeting affirmed the strength of the Omani-Indian relations and the importance of developing them in a manner that further achieves the aspirations of the people of Oman and India. The meeting also explored various aspects of interest to both countries. It was attended from the Omani side by His Highness Sayyid Shihab bin Tariq Al Saeed, Deputy Prime Minister for Defense Affairs, His Excellency Sayyid Khalid bin Hilal Al Busaidi, Minister of the Diwan of Royal Court, His Excellency General Sultan bin Muhammad Al Na'mani, Minister of the Royal Office, His Excellency Sayyid Badr bin Hamad Al Busaidi, Foreign Minister, and His Excellency Dr. Hamad bin Saeed Al Aufi, Head of the Private Office. He was also attended by senior Indian officials. His Majesty the Sultan and the Indian Prime Minister also held a closed-door meeting. In honor of His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq, the Prime Minister of the Republic of India, His Excellency Narendra Modi, held an official luncheon in honor of His Majesty the Sultan at Hyderabad Palace in the capital, New Delhi. After the luncheon, His Majesty the Sultan signed the guest register. The luncheon was attended by members of the official delegations from the Omani and Indian sides. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq gave audience to His Excellency Jagdeep Dhankar, Vice President of the Republic of India, at His Majesty's residence at the capital, New Delhi. During the meeting, both sides exchanged cordial talks and discussed ways of joint work between both countries at various aspects within the distinctive relations binding the two countries. The meeting was attended by His Highness Sayyid Shihab bin Tariq Al Saeed, Deputy Prime Minister for Defense Affairs, and His Excellency Sayyid Khalid bin Hilal Al Busaidi, Minister of the Diwan of Royal Court, while it was attended from the Indian side by His Excellency Moktish K. Pardeshi, Secretary of Consular, Passport, Visa and Overseas Indian Affairs of the Ministry of External Affairs, His Excellency Aslam Raja Mohan, Joint Secretary of the Gulf Affairs at the Ministry of External Affairs, and His Excellency Amit Narang, Ambassador of the Republic of India accredited to the Sultanate of Oman. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq today visited the National Gallery of Modern Art, New Delhi, as part of his state visit to the Republic of India. During the visit, His Majesty the Sultan was briefed about a blend of types of arts that were introduced by entrepreneurs from various continents of the world. The exhibits also include paintings, artifacts, antiques, and sculptures by the most famous artists from India. They embody the evolution of the art from ancient times until modern day. Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq was accorded official reception protocols today at Rashtrapati Bhavan Palace in the Indian capital New Delhi on the occasion of His Majesty's state visit to the Republic of India. When His Majesty the Sultan's motorcade entered the gate of the presidential palace, it was surrounded by a group of knights in a show of warm welcome while the artillery fired a 21-gun salute to His Majesty. Upon the arrival of His Majesty the Sultan's motorcade in the palace courtyard, Her Excellency President Draupadi Murmu of the Republic of India and His Excellency Narendra Modi, Prime Minister of the Republic of India, were at the forefront of the welcoming party. They wished His Majesty the Sultan and his official delegation a pleasant stay. After that, commemorative photos were taken for His Majesty the Sultan, the Indian President and the Indian Prime Minister. Then His Majesty the Sultan headed to the dais of honor where the Omani royal anthem and the Indian national anthem were played. After that, His Majesty the Sultan inspected the guard of honor that lined up to greet him. Then His Majesty the Sultan greeted senior members of the welcoming party. In the meantime, the Indian President and the Indian Prime Minister greeted members of the official Omani delegation accompanying His Majesty the Sultan. At the conclusion of the official reception protocols, a commemorative photo was released documenting the historic visit of His Majesty the Sultan. The Diwan of the Royal Court today issued a statement reading as follows. With full faith in the Almighty Allah's divine destiny and judgment, and with profound sorrow and grief, His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq has received the news of death of His Highness Sheikh Nawaf Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah, the late Emir of the State of Kuwait. The deceased was one of the Arab leaders who served the Arab and Islamic nations. He also contributed to the prosperity and development of the State of Kuwait. His Majesty the Sultan has issued his royal orders to announce the state of mourning and fly flags at half-mast in the Sultanate of Oman, as work shall be halted at the public and private sectors for 3 days from today, Saturday, 16th of December 2023, so that official duty will resume on Tuesday, 19th of December 2023. While sharing the Kuwaiti leadership, government and people their sorrows and grief over the immense loss, the Sultanate of Oman prays to the Almighty Allah to rest the deceased in peace in paradise and to grant his family and the brotherly people of Kuwait fortitude to bear the loss. To the Almighty Allah we belong, and to Him we shall return. His Majesty the Sultan sent a cable of condolences to His Highness Sheikh Mish'al Al-Hamad Al-Jaber Al-Sabah, Emir of Kuwait, on the death of the late Emir of Kuwait, His Highness Sheikh Nawaf Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah. His Majesty expressed his heartfelt condolences and sympathy to the ruling family of Al Sabah, the government and the people of Kuwait, praying to Allah the Almighty to rest his soul in peace and grant the family of the deceased patience and solace. The state's Emiri Diwan of Kuwait announced today that the Emir of Kuwait, His Highness Sheikh Nawaf Al-Ahmed Al-Sabah, passed away at the age of 86. A statement aired on Kuwaiti state television as follows. With great sadness and sorrow, we mourn the death of the Sheikh Nawaf Al-Ahmed Al-Sabah, Emir of the state of Kuwait. Kuwait TV suspended its regular programming across all channels and aired recitations from the Holy Quran. The Sultanate of Oman on Saturday bid farewell along with the state of Kuwait to Sheikh Nawaf Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah, Emir of the state of Kuwait, who passed away at the age of 86. He worked toward the security and stability of Kuwait. Here's a report.
The Sultanate of Oman on Saturday bid farewell along with the state of Kuwait to Sheikh Nawaf Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah, Emir of the state of Kuwait, who passed away at the age of 86. In the year 2020, Sheikh Nawaf Al-Ahmed Al-Sabah took over the reins of power, succeeding Emir Sabah Al-Ahmed Al-Sabah, and ushered in a new development era through plans that kept with the latest development worldwide. The Sultanate of Oman and the state of Kuwait are linked by relations that are well established and a solid brotherhood whose roots extend deep into history and include all official levels of prosperity in various fields and levels. The late Emir Sheikh Nawaf Al-Ahmed Al-Sabah is the sixth son of the 10th Emir of Kuwait, Sheikh Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah, who ruled Kuwait between 1921 and 1950. Late Sheikh Nawaf Al-Ahmed Al-Sabah was born on June 25, 1937 in Kuwait City. He is the 16th ruler of Al-Sabah family. He has been in Kuwait since 1961 and assumed the role of Crown Prince in 2006. Before late Sheikh Nawaf Al-Ahmed Al-Sabah took office on September 30th, 2020, he spent a long career serving his country, which spanned over 6 decades. Late Sheikh Nawaf Al-Ahmed Al-Sabah held several political and ministerial positions, initially as governor of Hawali from 1962 for 16 years, then the Minister of Interior in 1978 and Minister of Defense in 1988. He was assigned to the Ministry of Social Affairs and Labour when the government was formed in 1991. He became Deputy Chief of the National Guard in 1994. He assumed the position of Minister of Interior again in 2003 and later was designated the Crown Prince in 2006. He took the pledge as Emir on September 30th, 2020, assuring to work towards the security and stability of Kuwait, the preservation of its status and pride, and the guarantee of its dignity and well-being of its people. May Allah the Almighty place patience in the hearts of the government and people of the state of Kuwait.
The Kuwaiti Council of Ministers named His Highness Sheikh Mish'al Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah as Emir of Kuwait.
الدستور والمادة الرابعة من القانون رقم 4 لسنة 64 في شأن أحكام توارث الإمارة، فإن مجلس الوزراء ينادي بولي عهده حضرة صاحب السمو الشيخ مشعل الأحمد الجابر الصباح أميراً.
His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq sent a cable of greetings to His Majesty Jigme Keshar Namgyel Wangchuk of King of Bhutan on his country's National Day. The Oman Investment Authority expanded its cooperation with the State Investment Bank of India by launching the third Omani-Indian Joint Fund. The establishment of the third fund was signed with the size of $300 million. The authority established the first Omani-Indian Joint Investment Fund in 2011 with a value of $100 million in partnership with the State Bank of India to invest in various sectors within India. In 2017, the fund established its second portfolio with $230 million, which focused on medium-sized companies in the Indian market. The Sultanate of Oman and the Republic of India signed an agreement and a number of memoranda of understanding within the framework of a state visit by His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq to India. The memoranda of understanding included the areas of culture, communication, information technology, and the exchange of financial information between the two sides. The two sides signed a memoranda of understanding between the Ministry of Culture, Sports and Youth and the Ministry of Culture of the Republic of India, and a memoranda of understanding between the Ministry of Transport, Communications and Information Technology and the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology of the Republic of India. A memoranda of understanding was also signed between the Financial Information Center of the Sultanate of Oman and the Financial Information Unit of the Government of the Republic of India, aimed at to exchange intelligence information related to money laundering, crimes and terrorist financing. The two sides also signed the Joint Vision 2023 between the Sultanate of Oman and the Republic of India, and an agreement between the government of the Sultanate of Oman and the government of the Republic of India regarding the work permit for accompanying official employees. Within the state visit of His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq to India, His Excellency Qais bin Mohammed Al Yusuf, Minister of Commerce, Industry and Investment Promotion, met in New Delhi today with His Excellency Piyush Goyal, Minister of Commerce and Industry in the Republic of India. During the meeting, they exchanged cordial talks, discussed means of enhancing joint cooperation, and developed bilateral relations in the fields of commerce, industry, and investment promotion between both friendly countries. The meeting was attended by His Excellency Pankaj Kankashi Kimji, Advisor for Foreign Trade and International Cooperation at the Ministry of Commerce, Industry, and Investment Promotion, and a number of officials from both sides. Coinciding with the state visit of His Majesty the Sultan to the Republic of India, Oman Post, in cooperation with India Post, launched a joint postage stamp that celebrates the cultural ties and strong friendship that binds the two friendly countries. The issuance of the postage stamp reflects the rich cultural heritage shared between the two friendly countries, as it depicts the most prominent folk arts of the Sultanate of Oman and the Republic of India, which symbolizes the vitality and authenticity for traditions and the rich heritage of artistic expression that confirms the depth of the bilateral relations between the Sultanate of Oman and the Republic of India. The inauguration of the postage stamp was under the auspices of His Excellency Abdussalam bin Mohammed Al Murshidi, Chairman of the Oman Investment Authority, and His Excellency Vineet Bandi, Under Secretary of the Indian Ministry of Communication for Posts. The Sultanate of Oman and the Republic of India adopted a joint vision document entitled Partnership for the Future, which includes a common vision for the leaderships of the two countries. Here's a report.
The joint vision indicates the remarkable synergy between Oman Vision 2040 and India's development goals under Amrit Kaal, and emphasizes their commitment to harnessing these complementarities to deepen their partnership. This came in the joint statement between the Sultanate of Oman and the Republic of India on the occasion of a state visit by His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq to the Republic of India as follows. In response to the kind invitation of Her Excellency Draupadi Murmu, President of the Republic of India, His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq, Sultan of Oman, made his state visit to India. The official reception of His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq took place in Rashtrapati Bhawan Square in New Delhi, and Her Excellency Draupadi Murmu, President of the Friendly Republic of India, hosted a banquet in honor of His Majesty. This visit is of a special importance as it is the first visit of the Sultan of Oman to India in more than 25 years, since the visit of late Sultan Qaboos bin Said in 1997. His Majesty's visit comes after the visit of His Excellency Narendra Modi, Prime Minister of India, to the Sultanate of Oman in February 2018. His Majesty the Sultan and the Prime Minister held closed consultations followed by delegation-level talks on December 16, 2023, where the meetings were characterized by great warmth and friendliness, and the two leaders expressed their satisfactions with the distinguished level of bilateral relations that have stood the test of time and developed into a strong and lasting partnership based on historical ties and trust, respect and common interest. The two leaders noted with satisfaction that continuous exchange of high-level visit which helped achieve progress in various areas of cooperation. The two leaders also discussed all aspects of bilateral cooperation, including political and security cooperation, defense, trade, energy security and renewable energy, healthcare, education, culture. His Majesty the Sultan expressed his appreciation to India for extending the invitation to the Sultanate of Oman to participate in the G20 meetings as a special guest. He also expressed his appreciation to India for the successful organization of the G20 summit and 2 editions of the Global South Voice Summit, stressing India's role in facilitating a platform for global cooperation and discussions on important international issues. His Majesty praised India and Prime Minister Modi for the remarkable achievement of India's G20 presidency in bringing together countries with diverse visions and priorities to reach the adoption of the historic New Delhi Leaders' Declaration. The joint vision indicates the remarkable synergy between the Oman Vision 2040 and India's development goals under Amrit Kaal, stressing their commitment to harnessing these complementarities to deepen the partnership between the Sultanate of Oman and India. A group of areas were identified in the vision, such as maritime cooperation and communication, energy security and green energy, space technologies and applications, digital payments and financial cooperation, trade and investment, health, tourism and hospitality, information technology and innovation. In addition to agriculture and food security, with specific action points as part of the future roadmap to deepen ties between the two countries for implementation. The two leaders expressed their confidence that the joint vision document will serve as a roadmap to enhance bilateral cooperation in various fields and will lead the Omani-Indian partnership to new horizons. The two leaders noted with satisfaction the remarkable growth in bilateral trade as the volume of trade exchange has doubled from $5.4 billion in 2020 and 2021 to $12.3 billion in 2022 to 2023. The two leaders appreciated the negotiations that had begun to enter into a comprehensive economic partnership agreement between the Sultanate of Oman and India, which had achieved great progress. They agreed to continue to work closely to accelerate and conclude negotiations, and the agreement has the potential to harness this partnership and achieve a higher growth path in line with the enormous potential of the close historical bilateral relations. The two leaders also expressed their appreciation for the announcement of the third batch of the Oman-India Joint Investment Fund and its potential to stimulate investments from the Sultanate of Oman and the Gulf region in the fastest growing sectors of the Indian economy. The two leaders welcomed the continued deepening of defense cooperation between them, stressing the need to enhance mutual interactions in this field. The two leaders agreed to expand cooperation in the field of space and expressed their appreciation for the recent bilateral interactions in this sector. They acknowledged the broad potential for cooperation in multiple fields, including remote sensing, satellite launches, communications and practical applications of space technology, stressing on the common interest between the Sultanate of Oman and India in these areas. The two sides discussed cooperation in the field of civil aviation and air communication, where the Omani side expressed its interest in joint work to improve airspace management and the air traffic management system for the mutual benefit, and the Indian side expressed its readiness to continue the ongoing discussions between the civil aviation authorities of the two sides in order to find a cooperative way to move forward. The two leaders stressed the importance of cooperation in the field of health and expressed their commitment to strengthening bilateral cooperation in this important sector. They also highlighted the potential for companies to explore future partnership with their counterparts in the manufacture of generic medicines. The two leaders discussed the possibility of the Sultanate of Oman becoming a major center for Ayurveda in the Middle East, given the growing popularity of the traditional Indian medical system in the region. The two sides also stressed that the relations between the both peoples extend for centuries and represent fundamental pillars of the historical relationship between them. The Indian side expressed its appreciation to the Omani side for its excellent care for the large Indian community, which exceeds 700,000 residents. The Omani side expressed its gratitude to expatriate Indian community, stressing its continued and valuable contributions to the Omani society and economy. The two sides committed to enhancing cultural cooperation by signing a memorandum of understanding in the cultural field. This memorandum will promote increased cooperation in cultural activities, including the participation of artistic performances, exhibitions, and cultural events. During the visit, a joint commemorative postage stamp was issued, symbolizing the long-standing cultural and popular relationship between the two countries. The joint postage stamp depicts traditional folk dances, showcasing the brilliance of the two countries' cultural heritage, and will be appreciated by the stamp and art enthusiasts in both countries. The two leaders pointed to the long history of maritime trade between India and Oman, which enabled the exchange of goods and ideas over thousands of years. They pointed out the important role played by sailing ships in facilitating trade and cultural exchanges, which contributed to a long and rich history of interaction between the Indian subcontinent and the Arabian Peninsula, especially the Sultanate of Oman. The two leaders expressed their appreciation for the Indian Ministry of Culture's proposal to reoperate a sea voyage for an Indian handicraft ship made with traditional techniques in India, and the voyage is planned from Mandavi port in Gujarat to Muscat during the years 2025 or 2026, followed by another voyage in other regions. The two leaders agreed that this trip will focus on the historical ties between India and Oman, which will boost and strengthen of trust in the relations between the two peoples and countries. The two sides also expressed their commitment to boost tourism cooperation, sharing best practices in sustainable tourism and examining the possibilities of increasing tourist flows between the two countries. The two leaders condemned terrorism in all its forms and stressed their commitment to strengthening cooperation to emphasize the importance of promoting the universal values of peace, justice, coexistence, and tolerance, while stressing the need to abandon all forms of extremism that lead to violence, hate speech, discrimination, and incitement. The two leaders also discussed regional and international issues of common concern, and both sides expressed their strong commitment to supporting efforts and promote peace and stability in the world and in the region. The two leaders also discussed regional and international issues of common concern, and both sides expressed their strong commitment to supporting efforts and that promote peace and stability in the region and in the world. The two countries stressed the need for all countries to adhere to international law, respect sovereignty and territorial integrity, not to intervene or interfere in the internal affairs of other countries, and resolve disputes peacefully through dialogue and diplomatic solutions. The following agreements and memorandums of understanding were signed and exchanged during the visit. Memorandum of Understanding between the Minister of Culture, Sports and Youth of the Sultanate of Oman and the Minister of Culture of the Republic of India in the field of culture. A Memorandum of Understanding between the Ministry of Transport, Communications and Information Technology in the Sultanate of Oman and the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology in the Republic of India in the field of information technology. Memorandum of Understanding between the National Center for Financial Information and the Financial Information Unit in cooperation in the exchange of information related to money laundering, associated primary crimes and financing of terrorism. Agreement between the Government of the Sultanate of Oman and the Government of the Republic of India regarding the beneficial employment of persons accompanying public employees. Memorandum of Understanding between the Dhofar University and the Indian Cultural Relations Council on establishing the Indian Cultural Relations Council Chair for Indian Studies, Hindi language. Main provisions for establishing the third Omani-India joint fund between the Oman Investment Authority and the State Bank of India. The two leaders expressed their confidence in the broad scope for further develop bilateral relations, and His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq extended his thanks and appreciation to Prime Minister Narendra Modi for the warm hospitality of the Indian government and people, and His Majesty extended an invitation to the Prime Minister of India to visit the Sultanate of Oman.
This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq, during the official session of talks with His Excellency the Prime Minister of the Republic of India, stresses on further strengthening the bilateral relations between the two friendly countries. His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq and His Excellency the Indian Prime Minister, during their meeting at Hyderabad House in New Delhi, stress on the deep-rooted Omani-Indian relations and the importance of developing them towards new horizons. Official reception protocols are held at Rashtrapati Bhavan Palace in the Indian capital New Delhi on the occasion of His Majesty's state visit to the Republic of India. His Majesty the Sultan issues his royal orders to announce the state of mourning and fly flags at half-mast in the Sultanate of Oman, as work shall be halted at the public and private sectors for 3 days from today on the death of the Emir of Kuwait, Sheikh Nawaf al-Ahmad al-Jaber al-Sabah. And His Majesty the Sultan sends a cable of condolences to His Highness Emir of Kuwait on the death of the late Emir of Kuwait, His Highness Sheikh Nawaf al-Ahmad al-Jaber al-Sabah. With that, we come to the end of tonight's bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom, it's good night, and until next time.